All right, I hope everybody's having a good day. This video is going to go over section 1.5, and the title of this section is Quadratic Applications. So the math is not going to be any different from what we did in section 1.4. We're just now going to be looking at applications, typically in the form of word problems. So we have a 25-inch television set. The length of the screen's diagonal is 25 inches. If the screen's height is 15 inches, what is the width? So first, almost every single one of these problems, it's better to draw a picture. So we've got our television set, and a 25-inch TV means that the diagonal measurement is 25 inches, and it tells us that the screen is 15 inches high, and it wants to know the width. So that's what our variable is going to represent. Well, every TV set that I've ever seen has right angles. So this is a right triangle. And so anytime we have a right triangle, we can use the Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared, where a and b are the legs, in this case the height and the width, and c is the hypotenuse, the diagonal in this case. And so we're just going to plug in. So we get x squared plus 15 squared equals 25 squared. And we just need to solve this for x. So let's go ahead and square those out. 15 squared is 225. So we have x squared plus 225 equals 625. And then 625 minus 225 gives us 400. When we get our x by itself and subtract that 225, and then we're ready to take the square root. Technically, we do have plus or minus as an option, but since this is a width, it has to be a positive number. Can't be negative. So x is going to be the positive version of the square root of 400. And we can simplify that and get an exact value. 400 is divisible by 100. Actually, 400 itself is a perfect square, I believe. It is. Yes, 400 is a perfect square. 400 is the perfect square of 20. So, but it does say to express your answer in a complete sentence. And so our answer for this is the width of the TV is 20 inches. Okay. All right, let's look at another one here. The height of an object thrown upward from the roof of a building is given by the following equation, where h represents the height of the object after t seconds. So what is the height after 2.5 seconds? So height, we're looking for h. 2.5 seconds right there is telling us t is 2.5. And so this one we're just going to plug in 2.5 for our t. And when we plug that in, I get that the height is 198.481. And here it just says h represents the height. I'm going to make the assumption I'll be very clear on any written exam. H represents the height, I'm going to say in feet. So our answer here would be 198.481 feet. Now it wants to know how long will it take the object to hit the ground. Well, when it hits the ground, the height is 0. So this right here tells us that we're going to plug in h equals 0. And we're going to solve for t. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm not really looking to complete the square or factor that one. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in the quadratic formula. It is equal to 0. We've got everything on one side. So we're ready to just plug in our a, our b, and our c. So remember, it's negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And I'm going to go ahead and just type this whole part underneath the radical in my calculator. So negative 68.05 squared minus 4 times negative 16 times 128.356 gives us underneath the radical 12845.5865. And then in the denominator, 2 times negative 16 is negative 32. And then we can take the square root of that answer. Square root of the answer of the 12,845. And when we do that, we get 113,338, and it keeps going on. I don't want to retype all of that in my calculator, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open parentheses, negative 68.05 plus, and then do second answer, or the second negative down at the very bottom, and divide that by negative 32. And that gives me a possible answer of 1.415. And we don't really want that one because it is the negative time. That doesn't make sense. So now I'm going to do it with the positive. Open parentheses, negative 68.05 plus, and scroll up and highlight that number. Close parentheses, divided by negative 32. Oh wait, that was the plus. Let's try the minus. The minus gives us 5.668. Keep going on forever. So that means it's going to take about 5.7 seconds for that object to hit the ground. All right. I hope everybody has a good day and that this helps you out. Please let me know if there's another example that you would like to see.